Oh. Hey, Mr. Wolfens. Man, am I glad to see you. I didn't expect to find you here, of all places. You know, I didn't expect to find myself here, of all places, either, if I'm to be completely honest with you. I just kind of showed up, you know? And I typically try to avoid this place as best I can. That's a nice axe. You plan on chopping some trees here, Mr. Wolfens? There's no trees! There's no trees, Mr. Wolfens! No! Not again! Why does this always happen?
Stupid builder.
Oh. Okay. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. This is all fine. Just another dream, another fun dream. Okay. Well, greetings everyone. Welcome back to Wolfinia, I guess. This is episode 295 of my Minecraft survival series. And it is Halloween, owie. It is Halloween, and for Halloween we go into the Nether, and we typically do builds over there in the Nether, and well, that's a whole lot of fun. I'm thinking that maybe we go do something else, because while the whole Halloween Nether tradition is great and all, I just didn't get a good night's sleep last night, you know, and my allergies are acting up, and the Nether is famous for all its allergens and things like that. So maybe we move away from the whole Halloween, you know, Nether tradition, and maybe also some other traditions I'm not really up for anymore. And instead of doing all of that stuff, you know, we go and we do something I'll enjoy instead. Like, Okay, I know what we're going to do. I got a plan. I got everything I need. Yep, I got everything I need, and I got a plan for the episode. What I think we're going to do is we're going to go away from the Nether. I go pretty far away from the Nether. We're going to go to a whole nother dimension that has no portals or access to the Nether, as far as I'm aware, at least. We're going to go and make our way over here first to Ender Island, then we're going to go and make our way to the end. Because we do have a project out in the end that really needs doing, and you know what? It gets us away from the Nether, and it's suitably creepy for Halloween. So, that sounds like a plan to me. So, a while back, we made a Sculk Farm out here in the end, and the farm itself is complete. It is 100% working. However, it is kind of bare and a lot of it is exposed, and this is not where I wanted to land. Actually, you know what? Before we commit to this, it's been a while since we tested the functionality of this thing, so before we start building a shell on it, let's actually make sure the whole farm itself is still working. Yep, that's fine. This is fine. Yeah, we seem to be all good here, so... Oh, we got endstone. I need endstone, because I was bringing some endstone bricks from Wolfinia, because that's what this build is going to be. It's going to be endstone bricks, and I was thinking we might have to harvest some endstone to make endstone bricks. But if we already have all this endstone already set aside, that's going to make life a lot easier. However, that does kind of negate my original plan of opening up with a resource gathering time-lapse, because if we don't need to do that, then we can go do something else, right? And we can come back here at the end of the episode and actually build this thing, yeah? So the question now, I suppose, is what are we going to do to kick things off? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave the Sculk Farm for now, okay? Because I want to come back here at the end of the episode, because I was anticipating that the actual building, the big end build, would take place at the end of the episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this for now and head back to Wolfinia, because there's another unfinished project that needs to get done. Now, before I went on break, we were working on a lot of roofs in and around the city, or redoing some roofs. We got all these ones in the business district done. However, we do also have a lot of roofs over here in the farm district that are marked for renovation. Question on my mind is, after this break, am I still capable of doing, like, roofs? I guess we'll find out. So, first things first, I gotta figure out some block pellets. I know we're gonna be doing some deep slate stuff, So for instance, on the farmer's market right here, the block palette for this one's going to be pretty easy. It's going to be dark prismarine and some kind of deep slate, right? The question is, what type of deep slate do we really want to use? And you know what? To add some variety, we could also probably do some roofs with some mud bricks, right? That's not my pickaxe. And in addition to renovating some of these roofs over here in the farm district, there are also a few roofs over here in the approach that need to be done as well, because they also all suffer from that just kind of boring 45-degree angle type thing. Plus, we also have some weird stuff going on left over from the dimensional shift, which will need to be taken care of. All right, well, I think I have my block pallets picked out, and we do have a lot of roofs to do. So much so that should probably be the main focus of an episode, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and start working on it now because I feel like I've been missing out on a lot of this. So, at this point, let's go ahead and call the drone on over here, put on some music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. And at this point, we do have our roofs now done. I'm feeling much better about our roofing situation here in Wolfinia. Let's go ahead and perch up here real quick and just kind of take a look at the roofs that we did over here. I think that looks much better from up high. And as far as from down low, let's go ahead and take a little walking tour of this. Ow. You can see the farmer's market looks much more interesting now. We have jumping jack-o'-lanterns over there with a much more suitable color palette, which I think really works for that build in particular. Our stables has a much more interesting roof shape. Overall, I mean, these roofs, they add a lot to this area, you know? Headed over here towards the entrance to the city, you can see our barn right here has not changed much or at all. The house over here, though, this residential home, has a much better roof shape, I think. I think that actually adds a whole lot to that build. Let's go ahead and have a peek at it from this side, and you can see that the roofs do make these builds a lot bigger, a lot more interesting, and therefore a lot better. At least in my opinion concerning these particular builds. Over here we have our villager houses, the houses that belong to our farming villagers, which we also did some work to. As we extended the roofs upwards, we had to add some details in here to kind of fill in the spaces due to the raising of the roofs. And overall, I gotta say I like it. There's more detail to it. It looks nicer. It looks better. Over here we have one more villager farmer house, and this is the last one done in the farm district, and yeah, I mean, there's not too much more to say about these ones. But that is not all, because we also redid some roofs over here in the approach area. And as you can see, the new height of these roofs, as well as the new kind of more interesting design of them, does make them stick out a lot more. They are a lot more prominent, a lot more noticeable as you make your way through this area. Let's go ahead and have a peek at each of them. So we have this house right here, which I think looks greatly improved over what it did previously. Going down this way, we have this kind of weird hay bale house, which now has a more rounded roof, so we kind of took the opposite approach for that. And finally, over here, we have this darker house with a slightly more pointy roof. So, in conclusion, roofs now done, and I do think it adds a lot to Wolfinia. I think it makes Wolfinia look a lot better, a lot more interesting. And I think that's all the roofs I had on my list, so we can check another thing off the to-do list. All right, we got Dee standing by because right now our storage system is running. Dee's going to make sure that everything gets put away where it needs to get put away. And I keep forgetting about these walls right here. That would have been another good thing to get done. In fact, pretty much everything over here in Wolfen's Laboratories would be a good thing to try to start getting done, because I do get the feeling. It's just this odd feeling that Mr. Wolfen's might be a little angry with me regarding the lack of recent progress. Okay, so before we begin, I got this pillar right here I want to get rid of. And while I'm doing that, I figure we can talk for a minute, because earlier in the episode, I did mention that I probably want to do away with some traditions. In fact, all of them. I know I've already gotten rid of the wither fights that would occur every however many episodes. The Halloween Nether hub build, the Madhouse, I believe is what we called it. We're going to kind of stop focusing on that. I might still do it. I might, but just when I feel like it, instead of feeling obligated to do it, you know? The same thing goes for the world tours. I know we were doing them every 50 episodes. I'm thinking at this point, I kind of just want to build. I don't really enjoy doing the world tours. It's a lot of, you know, talking and stuff like that, not really getting stuff done. And if I'm playing this game, I just kind of want to play the game, you know? So we're going to limit world tours now to whenever I feel like, you know, we've made sufficient progress to warrant a world tour, rather than just me feeling obligated to do it. Hope you guys are okay with that. If not, I mean, that's still what's happening. And now it is time to shift our focus to the build itself. So, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I am going to first have to move this torch tower right here, because for what I'm thinking for this build is that we're going to have like a kind of a large round base going around the bottom here. And then it's going to go skinny through this center section and then kind of expand again at the top. So if we're going to do that, this torch tower has to go. And what we can probably do is just kind of wind it up this central shaft right here. Or actually, probably a better idea would be to wind it up the back here. That way it's a little less visible, right? So what I'm seeing for this build is basically going to be a very large, overgrown chess piece. I know it sounds kind of weird and doesn't really go with any of the other stuff we got built out here in the end, but none of the stuff we do have built out here in the end goes with each other. None of the two things. I'm just going to use this place as a place to kind of experiment and do weird stuff and to just kind of have fun. I do think this could be kind of like a fun build that, even though it doesn't make sense, might look right with the block palette, because at least that'll be consistent. So now that our redstone has been rerouted, we should probably give this thing a check just to make sure it still works, because I don't know, I'm always sketchy about changing up redstone stuff, even something simple like that. We're good, we're fine. You know, it occurred to me that I said, oh, we're gonna have some fun building some weird stuff out here in the end. This isn't fun, this is very, very sketchy. That is a large drop beneath me. I'm just constantly staring at. So just kind of eyeballing this, I'm gonna have to actually go a little bit bigger with this circle. Maybe out to right here. I think that would probably be good, because the top section up there, I think the corners will kind of clip this. Well, they definitely would. So I do want the top and bottom to be more or less the same basic circumference. Kind of going for like an hourglass shape with it. Again, hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but I do kind of have at least a basic idea of where I want to go with this. And obviously we're not going to keep the design basic. I'm going to, you know, add some details and, you know, stuff like that as we go along. But this is just kind of a, you know, fun little thing. So I think at this point, what we're going to go ahead and do is call the drone on over here, put on a little bit of music, and just kind of see how this thing turns out. Welcome back, everybody. We got rain in the end again. When we were building that thing, I did have some spiders spawn too, so I'm thinking we got some overworld chunks here in the end. You know, some corruption here. Likely a byproduct of the dimensional shift, but this thing is now done. I did change it up from my original design. The top wasn't like this, how I originally planned it. I do like the pointy top better, though. It was more symmetrical before. I think it works better this way. It looks more interesting this way. This thing is now dwarfed by both Ender Island and the Sculk Farm over there. So we may have to build this up at some point, but that's not for right now. That's not our concern right now. The concern right now is the Sculk Farm, and man, that is something, all right. If you ask me to describe what exactly it is, I couldn't tell you, but it is something. I do only have 10 firework rockets left, so we do have to be judicious with our use of them as we go to check this thing out. But, I mean, there's really not much to see up close. This thing is really just meant to be viewed from afar. We should do another functions test just to make sure this is still working. Also, it now occurs to me I do need to make a hole for my ender pearls to get ejected. There should be more than that. Do we have a problem here? No. No, we're good. We're still good. Everything's fine. And with that, I think I got the last little bit of my mess cleaned up here, so let's go home. Yeah, that's interesting. You see how it's rainy here? It's all dark and rainy, much like the end. I do think we got some overworld chunks in the end, which could be kind of interesting now that I think of, like, what about an overworld mob farm in the end? You know, kind of taking advantage of that. But then again, I don't really need any mob drops, so that might be kind of pointless. But I do think that's probably as good a place as I need to go ahead and call it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. What is there left to say? Happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys soon, I guess. Bye-bye.